I surrender to the Almighty my mind, speech and body. Vanakkam. We are currently reading this book called Thirukkural, written by Thiruvalluvar, and we are following the commentaries given by Parimel Alagar. We are at the first chapter of the Payira viyal in the Arathu Paal. This chapter is titled as Kadavul Vaazhthu, and it talks about God and the different ways of attaining veed or mukti using our mind, speech and body. We have finished 7 Kurals so far, and today we will see the 8th Kural. The 8th Kural goes like this. Aravaazhi Andhanan thaazh sernthaar kallal pira neenthal arithu. The general meaning of this Kural is, it is difficult to swim across the ocean of wealth and pleasure if we don't worship the feet of the one who has as his body the ocean of aram. I understand there are many questions in this Kural. What ocean, whose feet, what body? So let's see what all of this means. This Kural is actually simple to understand, yet it carries a very important information. See, so far we have seen how the worship of God will enable us to break the cycle of rebirths. But here Valluvar is saying that forget about rebirth and all that. Even in this current birth, if we want to enjoy our wealth in peace and enjoy the other pleasures of life peacefully, then it is necessary to imbibe the principles of aram. There is no other way, and Parimel Alagar confirms that it is impossible to enjoy the wealth and pleasures without aram. We will simply be stuck in our cycle of rebirths, he says. This is the general meaning. But this Kural raises some important questions. What is the need for aram? Why is it stressed so much? What has aram got anything to do with God and rebirths, right? Actually, what we will be reading in this book Thirukkural is the aram as it applies to the married life. That is, we will be seeing how to engage with our spouse, children, friends, relatives, the society, etc. and how to make the married life an enjoyable journey and even enjoy fame as a result. So, how is reading this book magically going to take us to higher states of existence and attain mukti and all that, right? There is a connection, and this Kural is showing us that every day from the time we wake up till we go to bed, we are engaged in a line of activities, isn't it? And in whatever actions we are engaged in, we make decisions. Right from the clothes that we wear for the day to our choice of career or even life partner, if you notice, every decision that we make is based on some fundamental idea that we carry about ourselves, about the world, and even about God. For example, let us consider that there are two totally unrelated young boys. They are going to a temple. There is an idol of a goddess in front of them, and the idol is decorated with beautiful gold ornaments. The first boy is worshipping with a deep devotion and admiration for the divine. He prays for the well-being of his family. Maybe he says, "Please bless my family with a lot of money. I want to buy a new bicycle for myself and some clothes for my mother," or something like that. And then he leaves. The second boy is standing before the idol of the goddess, and he is thinking what will be the worth of all the gold ornaments and how to steal it by the night. The second boy hatches a solid plan and successfully manages to steal a few ornaments by the end of the night. Now let us keep aside the issue of right and wrong here and focus on the difference in the thought process for each of these boys. Both boys are in need of wealth, but clearly these two behavior patterns are different, isn't it? Now the difference in the behavior pattern for these two boys is in their fundamental understanding about life. The first boy is of the understanding that the idol is not just a stone. For him, the idol is the goddess herself, and he believes that she will protect him and his family. So the thought of stealing from the idol did not occur for him, and he is asking the goddess to bless his family with the wealth instead. Whereas the second boy could be of the cognition that there is no God and all that, it is pure rubbish or imagination. The world is unfair. In this world, we have to grab from each other if you want to live a comfortable and wealthy life. So it is not okay for me that a silly statue should be decorated in gold while I am poor. Therefore, he is not afraid to steal. So the point is, we are holding on to some idea of the working of life, and it is this idea that drives us to perform some kind of an action. Do you see that? When you think about it, all our decisions and the subsequent actions are coming from these understandings. That is, all of us have some understanding about the workings of life. Some of us believe that life is fair or life is unfair. Life is there to have fun, be joyful, or some of us believe that life is there to experience only pain. Some of us think that joy is crime, money is everything, desiring wealth is bad, or poverty is bad, God exists and we are all his puppets, or God is a myth and only people have all the power. People are basically selfish, or people are basically good. The world cannot be trusted. We have so many understandings about the different areas of life based upon our life's past experiences. Let us call these understandings as cognitions. When I talked about karma in an earlier video, I mentioned that karma means action. Action means not only using the body, but action in the speech and also in the mind. And when we look deeper into the mind, we see that these cognitions play a major role in creating our actions. We empower only those thoughts that are in alignment with the cognitions that we carry. In the example that I mentioned, the first boy was of a different cognition about life and he did not empower the thoughts of stealing. Whereas the second boy comes from a different set of cognitions and therefore he empowered the thoughts of stealing. So it looks like our cognitions are driving our actions. But the strange thing is, all these cognitions and mind and all that, they are all things that we cannot touch and see. But it is very much there. It is what makes us to navigate this life. Just simple thoughts and ideas, stuff that we cannot see with our sense organs, but they are moving us in some direction in our life. Do you see that? And they say that these cognitions are shaped by our good and bad experiences of not only in this birth, but even the previous ones. So then it looks like we are an accumulation of cognitions, and some of them are in alignment with nature and some of them are not. Some are violent and hurtful and goes against the principles of nature. So then what happens is, whenever we are not in alignment with nature, we take a birth to correct these cognitions. The incorrect cognitions will make us to face pain in life, and that pain will make us to reflect as to what went wrong, and we eventually come to the right understanding. So that is why we take many births, and hopefully in some birth we will realize the existence of cognitions and how they drive the life, and we will do the necessary correction. But then the complication arises when we take a new birth, we face new experiences and then we form newer cognitions. Some of them are in alignment with the natural order and some of them are against nature, and so we take more births and we are simply going in circles, birth after birth after birth. If only we had a guide to tell us what we are doing, things would be a little easier, isn't it? In the very beginning, I mentioned that aram is a term that refers to the order in nature. And if we align our cognitions in tune with this aram, then we have learned our lesson and we can reduce the number of rebirths. And in order to help us form these right understandings, we have the jnanis, who are the old souls who have done this before us, who are able to observe this order and apply it to the various parts of human life, and they have given us the lessons in the form of books like Thirukkural and all the other books on aram. In the Kurals that we have seen so far, Vallivar has told us about how the human mind can sometimes enter into darkness. The darkness of the intelligence is called as mayakam, and in that mayakam we don't see things clearly. We tend to understand things incorrectly. He also told us that worry, anger and lust are particularly challenging areas. And with all the incorrect understandings, we keep getting stuck in the loop of rebirths. And in all the Kurals, he showed us how to seek guidance from God using our mind, speech, and body to form the right understandings and get us out of the cycle of rebirths. So it looks like all of this worship of God and all that is not to make God happy. It is not a blind ritual or anything. It is for us to make use of the superior intelligence to make our journey easier. So while reading books like Thirukkural, what we are really doing is we are forming the right kind of understanding so that our behavior patterns will be changed. With the right kind of understandings, we can save ourselves from several rebirths. It will make our journey easier, shorter, and help us to navigate life with minimal pain. And we will eventually reach our destination, what we call as Veed or Mukti or endless bliss. That is a promise that Parimal Alagar has given us in the introduction section of the book. Without reading about these kind of books, imagine for each and every wrong understanding that we have to live an entire lifetime and experience the pain and pleasure and wonder why the pain is there and somehow figure things out and change our understanding. That can easily take several lifetimes depending on how many incorrect understandings we are holding on to. So this is the link between the teachings of Aram, Rebirth and Veed. Now coming back to the Kural. I was explaining what is the meaning of cognition and how they drive our life. Now in this Kural, Valluvar is saying that the number of cognitions about the different aspects of human experiences are so many, like a vast ocean. But among this ocean of cognitions, there is one set of cognitions that is in tune with the natural order. And that set is what we call as the principles of aram. Thirukkural talks about the principles of aram as it applies to the married life. It is called as ilaram, and the aram for creating wealth and for enjoying the pleasure. And thereby the path to Veed is shown. Beyond wealth and pleasure, there is nothing else in our experience as humans. Aram, Porul, Inbam and Veed, these are the only known areas of experience for us. And we already visited this idea under the topic called as Udartham. So in this Kural, Valluvar is saying that among all the cognitions that is out there, the cognitions based on the Aram principles, if we can collect them together, this collection makes the body of the entity called God. See, just as how we have a body, if we have to imagine God as an entity with a body, this will be his body. That is all the principles of Aram. In order to put things figuratively, in this Kural, Valluvar is saying that God is nothing but the whole set of Aram principles. He says, let's imagine that it is his body. And then he says, now you hold on to the feet of this body as if it is a lifeboat. And this lifeboat will help you to sail through the ocean of wealth creating cognitions and pleasure creating cognitions. So using this boat, we can easily sail through the wealth and pleasure with minimum damage, and we will reach our destination safely. Aravaazhi Andhanan, thaazh sernthaarku allal, pira neenthal arithu. Parimal Alagar says that if we do not hold on to the aram principles, then it is going to be impossible to experience the wealth and pleasure in the right manner, and we can easily get trapped in the wrong understandings, and therefore we will be stuck in the cycle of rebirths. For example, if somewhere in our life we make an understanding that it is better to be a thief and start grabbing others' wealth, that is a cognition that is against the natural order. So what will happen is we could accumulate wealth, but we will also face a lot of hatred and negative consequences. We have to be in the fear of getting caught. We could lose our loved ones, our family, etc. So we may accumulate the wealth, but it is impossible to achieve happiness and peace with such accumulation of money. And after a few lifetimes, such a painful life will hopefully make us look inside, and hopefully we will be able to understand where we made that incorrect understanding and change it. In this Kural, Aravaazhi Andhanan, it is a term that is used to denote God. Aazhi means ocean. When talking about God, he is referring to him as the one who has as his body the ocean of aram. So God is referred to as the Aravaazhi Andhanan. And unless we worship the feet of such a God who has as his body the ocean of aram, you cannot cross the rest of the ocean. If you want to successfully enjoy and cross the ocean of wealth and pleasure, then you have to hold on to the feet of the Aravaazhi Andhanan or God. If we try to go against the principles of aram, then we may have to take several births and come again and again into the cycle of rebirths to set our understandings correctly. And that is the summary of this Kural. It is a simple Kural, a simple concept, but it opened my mind to the truth about the power of cognitions and why it is important to form the right set of cognitions. Now, note that here also Valdavar is using the word sernthaar. It means thinking continuously. So here also Valdavar is telling us about the consequences of not worshipping the God using the mind. What is the consequence? Without aram, even the wealth and the pleasures of our current life cannot be enjoyed in peace, and we will be stuck in the cycle of rebirths. That's all. And with that understanding, we come to the end of Kural 8. I hope that made some sense. We have 2 more Kurals in this chapter. We can expect that Valdavar will talk about the consequences of failure of worship of God in the speech and the body. And we will see them in the next video. I shall end here. Thank you all for listening. Nandri Vanakkam.